Hello, I'm Professor Rad, and in this video, we're going to talk about subtraction using a third technique, which we're going to refer to as the traditional method, because this is what you might have been traditionally taught in school. This is also referred to as borrowing. So when we do subtraction, if we can't subtract down, we're going to borrow from the next place place value over so that we can do that. So let's start out with this first example of 46 minus 28. So I'm going to write this out, lining up my place values vertically. So we have 46 minus 28. When I go to do subtraction, I'm going to go right to left, but I get to a problem right away because I can't do 6 take away 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow from the tens place. So this is like 46, right? So I could take away a 10 from that and make it a 30. And then that 10 that I'm borrowing, I'm going to lump with the 6. So I could think of this as 16 instead of thinking of it as like 6. So my 46 is the same as 30 plus 16. Now I can do 16 minus 8. I'm going to count down for that. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we have 16, then we'll have 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So 16 minus 8 is 8. And now I can do 3 minus 2 and get 1. So 46 minus 28 is going to give me 18. All right, let's see this technique with some other numbers. So for this problem, we've got 2016, and we're going to subtract 924. We start out the same way, writing it vertically, and I want to make sure I line up my place values. So 2016, and the 9 is in the hundreds place. So I'm going to line that 9 up with the 0, because the 0 is in the hundredths place. Sweet. So when I go to do my subtraction, I don't have a problem to start. 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. It's in the next spot that I run into an issue, because now I have 1 minus 2, and that you can't do. So 1 is going to run over to their neighbor to try and borrow some, but we don't have any 100 here for us to borrow from. So this is what I sometimes call like a chain reaction, where you go to borrow from one spot and you can't. So now we are going to go down the line. The 0 in the hundreds place is going to borrow a 1,000 basically. So we're going to borrow from that 2 to make it a 1, so that that 0 can now become a 10. Now there's something here for our tens place to borrow from. So that 10 is going to turn into a 9. So that 1 can become an 11. So you can also think of it, someone once explained it to me as like somebody going to get a cup of sugar from a neighbor. And so that stuck in my head forever. So this 1 needed to borrow some sugar from their neighbor, but their neighbor didn't have any sugar. So they went and they got sugar from their neighbor. So then they had sugar. So then the 1 could borrow sugar from them. Either way, now we've got 11, and we're taking 2 away. That's going to give us a 9. 9 minus 9 is 0, and then we can bring down the 1. So 2016 minus 924 is going to give us 1092. All right, let's try this last problem that involves some decimals. Again, very important, make sure you line up your place values. So we have 24.5 to start with. And then the 8 is in the ones place. So I'm going to make sure I line that up with the ones place over here, 8.06. Now, one of the challenges with decimals is that sometimes you get some decimals that are longer than other decimals. So to help us make sure everything is nice and aligned, we're going to add a 0 here to help us out. So you can just add zeros to the right so that everything lines up. Now we can go ahead and subtract. So 0 is smaller than 6, so I need to do some borrowing. I'm going to borrow from the tenths, turning that into a 4, and then that will become a 10. So we have 10, and we're taking 6 away. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. 4 minus 0 is 4. Bring down my decimal point. Now I can't do 4 minus 8 since the 4 is smaller, so we can borrow again. So from the 2, I'm going to borrow a 1. And so 2 becomes 1, and the 4 turns into 14. And now we can do 14 minus 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's count down, starting at 14. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then we can bring down the 1. So 24.50 minus 8.06 is going to give us 16 and 44 hundredths. So here I have a few problems that you can try on your own. Again, the goal here is to try these problems out to see if the traditional method is going to work for you. If the traditional method doesn't work well for you, you can look at one of the other methods that we've explored using either Singapore or the left to right method to try and find one that works best. In our next video, we're going to do the same problem, and it's going to have lots of zeros, and we're going to use each of those 3 techniques. So you can see if there's a problem. Zeros don't sound like a problem, but they do become a problem in subtraction. So we're going to try each of those techniques for those problems, and hopefully that'll help you figure out which technique will work best for you. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.